I am TC. I may be a minor cast or secondary cast member on Magnum PI, but I make really good money, and I have a helicopter. Kind of like Trixie from Speed Racer, but real. I pick up dates in my helicopter. I'm TC from Magnum PI. Actually, I'm Tom Selleck. It's time to refinance your home with that mortgage you hear me talking about. All right, where's Drew Brees, please? It is indeed New Orleans. Drew Brees might be talking about reverse mortgages. I'm walking through the Lowe's and, hey, it's Drew Brees, your Lowe's representative. I'm like, wow, over the loudspeaker. Drew Brees is everywhere. A wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Yeah, you right, New Orleans. Thanks for joining us. I love Wide Open Wednesday, where you're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss, it's wide open. Get it? Rouse's Markets phone lines to dial us up, 766-9480, 504-766-9480. 766-9480, Rouse's Markets phone lines. Got a good one for you on this Wide Open Wednesday. Got a really good one tomorrow. Ghassan Corbin's going to join us, the director of the Sewerage and Water Board, in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll find out about why some pumps weren't working, what's going on there, construction at the plant, timeline, etc. And also retention ponds. Did I mention retention ponds? That's tomorrow. Ghassan Corbin, director of the Sewage and Water Board. We be digging. That's all New Orleans should be doing. We be digging small holes because all we do is plant trees 24/7, 365. Oaks, magnolias, cypress, you name it. We're planting them all the time. Rebuilding our tree canopy. And digging big holes. Yeah, retention ponds. So when it rains, like, the other day, 6 to 8 inches, we have all these retention ponds that we lowered the water table on all of them in the previous 24 to 36 hours. We're ready to take on that deluge, flooding out the retention ponds, not houses, businesses, neighborhoods, cars, etc. I'll tell you some great retention pond areas. Under the I-10 train tracks, Canal Boulevard, under the train tracks, Carrollton Avenue by Tulane and I-10, under the train tracks. Those are great retention ponds. They naturally store water. Hey, Robert Mann's going to join us from the LSU Manship School of Journalism in the 5 o'clock power hour mañana. Because the repercussions from the Brian Kelly comments, now the LSU coach is sort of trying to back down on him. No. I was saying LSU had great academics too. Anyway, we'll visit with Bob Mann. I have no problem with what Brian Kelly said. He nailed it. It was right on the money. He said it just cut and dried, outsider point of view, everything I've been saying for years and years, over a decade, that locals just want to ignore. They love their experience at LSU if they even went there. And then there's just the fan of football. It's about football. It's about winning in football. Everything else will take care of itself. Like a lot of Louisiana folks think, like, kind of wave the hand at it and come on, that'll be taken care of. No, it won't. Ask John Alario. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. I think low 90s right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 92. I don't think feels like over 100. 92 feels like 97. I like that. I like anything compared to that previous month, huh? We're just maybe 4, 6, 8 weeks away from dressed like I'm dressed today, but not perspiring or sweating in the least bit. And I'm outside doing stuff. The mayor said today, we have 858 days to go, like knows the number. 858 more days of Mayor LaToya Cantrell. 858. Ouch. She's disappointed in the leadership of the city council. Bullying tactics, disrespectful, political trickery. She says she's not surprised. Cassie Sherm, investigative reporter, WDSU Channel 6, got no answer. Lots of words, blah, 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 but not a lot of answers on who's paying for communication director Gregory Joseph's lawyer, his attorney. J.P. Morrell is calling for Gregory Joseph to be removed. The council will meet next Tuesday to possibly remove him from that post. The mayor, I guess, is thinking, and maybe she's right, that these positions are grandfathered in. The council's maybe like, we have the right to vote in your leadership, and we disapprove of this cat because he broke the law. That's what J.P. Morrell is saying. It doesn't stop, does it? Great piece on Channel 4's website. Channel 4 News running a piece. Basically, the shuttered EPA investigation that could have brought real reform to Louisiana and the Department of Environmental Quality, change Cancer Alley, all of that, just sort of went away. I've often said the state DEQ is a joke. It's run by the, oil and gas industry, the chemical industry. It is run and controlled by the oil and gas and chemical industry. The legislators, those essentially most of the 105 House reps, most of those 39 senators, most of them lie down in bed with the oil and gas or chemical industry or do nothing when their colleagues do the same. I remember Buddy Roemer, I was at LSU, brought in Paul Template to run the Department of Environmental Quality and actually do its job. It's funny how extreme politician folks, act about certain things. Department of Defense, they want some military person that knows military. For Department of Environmental Quality, they want someone who's worried about the economy. Or the opposite. They want the Department of Environmental Quality, the biggest environmentalist on planet Earth that's ready to stop folks from using charcoal while grilling on weekends. And for the defense, we don't need a defense. Don't need to worry about defense. You get these extremes that think like that on those topics. And that's kind of a problem. I want my Department of Defense to be run by the military, to be a strong military and defend the country, to be the leader in the world militarily. And I want my EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, to be the environmental protection for us agency and do their job. As far as DEQ in Louisiana, be the Department of Environmental Quality. Don't be the Department for Environmental Quality after we let the oil and gas and chemical industry do whatever the hell they want. And if they do something that's just overt and egregious where how can anyone miss it, we'll just give them a little fine and a slap on the wrist. No, Louisiana's record with the environment is pathetic, is terrible, is awful. We should have the most stringent rules and regulations in the country. We're on the Mississippi River. There's certain things that naturally have to come here. In my backyard, there's no way around it. They're coming no matter what. No, we should make sure the land, the water, the air is not polluted. It's the opposite. They control. I mean, boy, when it's nighttime or we're not looking or it's the right weather conditions, they open up the valves because they do not give a crap about Louisiana because they own the politicians and the Department of Environmental Quality doesn't do any environmental quality. None. I mean, that's just how it is. It's not a secret. Great piece by Channel 4. I've been talking about it since the Buddy Roemer era and Paul Template. They were actually trying to make DEQ. Edwin Edwards gets reelected after the Duke Edwin Edwards election. Republicans don't back the incumbent Republican and give us Edwin Edwards. And he brings in an attorney that works for the oil and gas and chemical industry and publicly says they're our friends. They support so many Louisiana jobs. We don't need to enforce this stuff. We need to work with them. It was absolutely pathetic. The inmates running the asylum when it comes to DEQ, oil and gas chemical industry. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
River Cities. Total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a wide open Wednesday. Tomorrow, Ghassan Corbin's going to join us, the director of the Sewage and Water Board. That'll be in the 4 o'clock hour. Tomorrow in the 5 o'clock power hour, Robert Mann from the LSU School of Journalism. Yeah, repercussions from Brian Kelly's scathing but accurate interpretation of LSU, especially when compared to an academic institution. I loved my time at Notre Dame. I have nothing but great memories there. But the whole landscape there is different than it is at LSU. It just is. Their priorities at Notre Dame, the architectural building needed to get built first. At LSU, they ain't building the architectural building first. They're building the athletic training facility first. It's something I said we needed, and we went and immediately raised the money. No, Louisiana is not a poor state. It's a rich state run poorly. We can do anything we want if the public gets behind it. Don't have the best leadership. I mean, look no further than who's running for governor and leading. And we just sort of accept. And Brian Kelly's basically saying, you know, I'm a coach. I'm 60, you know, want to win a national title. Been at Notre Dame, doing it right for like a decade plus, and they're just like inherent limitations at Notre Dame. This book thing, this academic crap gets in the way compared to these other schools that don't have to deal with it. And look at LSU, better recruiting, better players, SEC, better everything, facilities dedicated to sports. They want to win at all costs, and academics aren't in the way in the least bit. They'll build the athletic building over the academic building at LSU, and it doesn't matter. Hurricane could knock out the academic building and the athletic building, and they're rebuilding the athletic building. I mean, essentially, that's what he's saying. I mean, look, Notre Dame's a school first. Athletics are important, but it's secondary to academics. LSU is all about athletics. They aren't really concerned about academics. I'm a coach who wants to win at football, and LSU wants to win at football badly. Academics, not so much, and that works good for me. Signed, Brian Kelly. That's essentially what he said. And all the backtracking in the world isn't going to change that. We'll discuss that with Robert Mann. I'm not mad at Brian Kelly. I like him as football coach. Didn't like what he said, what he did over the weekend as football coach. I like what was said, what he said in that ESPN article over the weekend. He's right about academics. I've been saying this for over a decade. Change it. Change it. Make, at LSU, physics as good as football. And it's not. And it's not even close. It's not even close. On a 1-10 scale, athletics are an 11. Facilities, coaches, players, fans, success, money, anything needed, do it. The NIL, boom, got the great NIL thing going at LSU. No matter what, an 11 on a 1-10 scale. Academics, what was it, 4? I mean, seriously, we're not inside a vacuum. Inside a vacuum, I've got the best college football program in academics in the world. Outside, I don't even have a college. So outside, comparing apples to apples, LSU to other SEC schools, other schools in the South, other schools in the region, other schools in the country. No, it doesn't stack up that well academically. On the football field, athletics, an 11 on a 1-10 scale. Academics, about a 4. It'd be nice if academics were like a 7 or an 8. And athletics stayed at an 11, and the goal was to get academics to the 11 level. I'd be happy with like a 7 or an 8, not stuck at this mediocre at best, really below mediocre. Like I said, about a 4. Mediocre is about a 5. Brian Kelly's right on the money. Robert Mann will join us. You always can join us. That's the great part about the program. Corey, agree with you. Corey, vehemently disagree with you. You're so wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. LSU academically is equal to athletics and this, whatever. Rouse's Markets phone lines to participate. I wish it were true. I am LSU, class of 91. Got the diploma to prove it. 6 years of undergraduate studies dedicated to the Baton Rouge campus. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504-766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines 766-9480. Jeff Landry and the rich donors that control him, essentially. Now he's the front runner for governor. Broken Louisiana, we get exactly what we deserve, don't we? Just kind of to lose. Jeff Landry's got a lot of rich donors that fly him around on private jets. He likes private jets to do campaign work. Louisiana just allows this to go down. Louisiana Board of Ethics kind of reprimanding Jeff Landry. We'll see where it goes. I don't think it's going anywhere. Louisiana Board of Ethics, Louisiana, BORED, Board of Ethics. Tired. Let's do something else. Former FNBC boss Ashton Ryan sentenced to 14 years in jail today. It's a lifetime. Ashton Ryan, I'm going to guess, is closing in on 80, like probably 75 plus if I had to guess. Get out a good time if you live like another 10, 12 years. I don't know. Ashton Ryan looks like he's aged a lot in the last 3 to 5 years since all this has come out. The nearly $1 billion collapse of FNBC, nearly $1 billion. It's like $997 million, literally. Number 24, Tulane. Yeah, you right. Green wave. 24th ranked Tulane at home Saturday afternoon, ESPN2. Nationwide audience on the Deuce. They'll be in Uptown New Orleans, ESPN2. Tulane, 30,000 strong, a sellout at Yeoman. And you may roll your eyes and go 30,000, whatever. It's a college atmosphere at Yeoman. It is the color, outdoor, the pageantry, all of it. 2:30 in the afternoon, Saturday afternoon, number 24 Tulane, a top 20 matchup. 20th ranked Ole Miss coming to town. Do you know how many Ole Miss students and fans? First off, the Ole Miss New Orleans connection. There's like a love affair with New Orleans and Ole Miss, vice versa. A lot of New Orleans kids go to Ole Miss. They love coming down, partying in the city, like going to Memphis, going to Nashville. The Ole Miss fans are going to roll into the city. They're going to have a great weekend. Some are probably rolling in right now. Some of the older ones that semi-retired, retired, can pull the gimmick, get off of work for a few days. They're rolling in right now, checking in their bags right now in the quarter, walking into their hotel this very moment. No, and it's going to be the next few days more Ole Miss fans. So you're going to have thousands of Ole Miss fans in the city, thousands of Ole Miss fans at that game, a revitalized Tulane fan base, selling out the season tickets, only individual game tickets left for the rest of the year. A rejuvenated student section, thousands strong, not dozens or hundreds, thousands. So it is going to be literally a rocking and rolling, great atmosphere. ESPN will not have to keep the cameras panned low. They're going to show that whole stadium because it's going to be electric Saturday afternoon at 2:30 when 24th ranked Tulane takes on 20th ranked Ole Miss in Uptown New Orleans. Outdoor stadium, Yeoman. That's going to be tough to beat. If you're a local, that's going to be tough to beat. Hey, River City's total maintenance, tough to beat. Tough to beat. A lot of folks, like, air conditioning goes out. They go online, old school, like Yellow Pages mentality. Just find somebody, spin the globe and point. I like having an ace in the hole, someone I can trust, that's honest, that's going to get the job done right. That's River City's Total Maintenance. Fair and honest Lucas and the boys. Honest. Air conditioning experts. They're diagnosing it correctly right away. They know what they're doing. And speaking of right away, they know your AC's not working. They come right away. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. Find them at NOLAAC.com. River City's Total Maintenance. NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you're right. The Mandeville City Council says no to that apparent hotel, apartment plan, marina, restaurant, Mandeville, lakefront, right at the causeway, the foot of the causeway to the right, that little cut-in. That was where the original causeway construction site was set up in the 50s. It has been basically like that, I guess, since the second bridge was built in 69. I believe Al Copeland bought the property, was going to build some complex. It's crazy. Some Mandeville folks thought Al Copeland could build some big mansion there. It could be loud and lit up and have Christmas lights, maybe loud music, could be loud and gaudy, colorful, not fit in. That's crazy. Anyway, Al Copeland sold it to another group, and they were trying to do this and didn't get too far with it. That site's been abandoned for about 40 plus years, 50 years, coming right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe, in the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Welcome back. Corey Johnson with you. A wide open Wednesday edition of the program. I love Wide Open Wednesday. You're the show producer. It's wide open. Whatever you'd like to discuss. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. That doesn't mean I didn't do my homework. I've got a show sheet chock full of topics like the mayor and J.P. Morrell wanting the communication director, Gregory Joseph, ousted. They might do it next Tuesday. Great piece on Channel 4's website about the EPA investigation. Could have got Louisiana's Department of Environmental Quality getting the job done in Cancer Alley, dropping the ball there. Jeff Landry likes free private jet travel, apparently. Ashton Ryan sentenced to 14 years. That's a lifetime. Brian Kelly's scathing comments about LSU and academics. Mandeville City Council saying no to that project right on the foot of the Causeway Bridge. Got a lot to discuss on this wide open Wednesday, but you can always join us, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. Hey, tomorrow, Ghassan Corbin, director of the Sewage and Water Board, will talk about what happened the other day when 6 to 8 inches of rain fell and why some pumps weren't working and where. Also tomorrow, Robert Mann from the LSU School of Journalism to discuss Brian Kelly's comments. Hey, right now, I got a special guest. Damian Michaels joins us from Relevant Studio. How are you, Damian? Good afternoon.
Good, Corey. How are you? Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, happy Wednesday, man. I think we're finally out of this absurd heat wave thing. This is New Orleans, not Phoenix.
Yeah, stepping out of the shower and starting sweating all over again. When do you get out?
No, exactly.
Get in the shower all day.
No, exactly. You're right. Hey, it doesn't matter what the AC is running on. What's Relevant Studio, by the way?
Relevant Studios is an in-house creative hub for William B. Riley and Company, which owns Riley Foods, Riley Beverages, etc. And our job really is to do exactly what the name says, which is bring relevance back to a tremendous amount of heritage brands, brands that have been around for, most brands have been around for almost 100 years, some of them over 100 years. And really to reinvigorate these brands and connect with modern consumers, which expect a different experience from their brands, and something more relatable, more relevant, and just about improving quality of life with food, which is part of the reason why I'm in the advertising business, is the food aspect. It just allows opportunities, unlike most things in advertising, which are designed to kind of divide and pit us against one another. Food is one of those wonderful opportunities to bring people together and talk about differences, and to overcome those differences and find commonalities. And that's really what we're here to do in trying to leverage these heritage brands in today's consumer market.
Boy, you said it, heritage brands. It's pretty amazing, this Riley Foods. Maybe not the average New Orleanian. Not everybody knows Riley Foods. Some folks know that name, but it's Blue Plate mayonnaise. It's French Market coffee. It's Louisiana iced tea, just to name a few. The names go on and on and on. It's a pretty amazing New Orleans-based company.
Yeah, and if you had to personify the company, it's like a true Southern gentleman. They don't particularly like speaking about themselves. They like to let the quality of their work for the community and whatnot speak for themselves. So that's why most people don't really realize that they're New Orleans-based, and they've been here since, 1892, I think. So it's a wonderful company to work for. Treat the people like family. I like to say they always do the right thing, especially when no one's looking. So they really are in love with their brands, and they consider it an honor to be in most people's homes. So that's enough of my spiel on them. But it's a good company to work for, and it's a great New Orleans company.
No, well said. I love the Southern gentleman analogy. That's right on the money. They're like humble and quiet about it, and very proud of what they do, and they should be. Hey, you mentioned advertising's adversarial, almost like politics. What did you mean by that?
Well, if you look at most of the tools that are used today to reach people, those same tools are the tools that companies have figured out as the best way to get eyeballs. And not many people realize it, but in an average day, even a moderate user on a cell phone will scroll the length of a football field in content. So it's about 6 to 8 hours. And what happens is that has decreased attention spans from pre-COVID was 14 seconds. Now it's down to 9 seconds.
Yikes.
And you're in what's called an attention economy, where you have so much content that it's really hard to break through and connect with the consumers. So these algorithms that drive these platforms, they have found that the best way to get eyeballs is to aggravate people.
Yikes.
And to really make them angry. And so that's the quickest route to engagement. And then what happens is it's divisive there. So again, that's why I like food, is it allows us to go in the opposite direction and really try to find commonalities. It really is about 3% that makes us different from one another. Really, we're all just people trying to put food on the table and survive and do the right thing and take care of our families. So
now that makes sense, because if you think about generations ago, most things that were bad just didn't work. But occasionally there'd be something that stuck, and you'd be like, it's so bad, you listen to it. It draws you in. That's the outlier. Today, with technology and moving so fast, and you said that shortened attention span, it seems only natural that they throw a lot more of out there and see what sticks. That people are going to be like, it's so bad, I'm checking it out. It's such a bomb drop in my face. It's such a irritation, agitation. I've got to watch it.
Yeah, car wreck syndrome.
Yeah,
got to slow down.
Yep. Hey, you said something too. I thought it was pretty interesting. We were talking a few weeks back, marketing and advertising. I always thought of marketing was sort of the, where you're placing things, the approach to get to the consumer, and the advertising part was like the creative. You said some things to me. I was like, whoa, kind of just sat back and took it in.
Yeah, marketing versus advertising, it's interesting. Anytime someone wants to inquire about entering into this field, I always say, well, which do you like better? Do you like do you like the science and analytic parts of it, or do you like the art part of it? So I tend to refer to marketing as the ground game and advertising as the air game, and oversimplify that. Marketing is the science part and advertising is the art part. And marketing really kind of gets down to everything that goes into research, trying to understand who your consumer is, where's an opportunity in the marketplace for a product. You develop a strategy on how to go to market, how to get your products on the shelf or in front of consumers. And that includes, how to stimulate sales and work with sales and try to really put your products in the best position to be exposed to as many people as possible. On the advertising side, it's using art as a way to connect your brands with the consumers, and the best advertising usually involves humor. good storytelling, a lot of tools of just-in-time messaging to the right consumer at the right time in order to get them to just acknowledge and listen to your product. And if you're really lucky and it's good, then you motivate them to act, maybe not right away, but maybe when they're in the store, the recall is there. So it's a frequency thing. How often can you get in front of someone, say the right things, et cetera? And also, like anything, it can be perverted into, unethical ways of doing it. And so, again, going back to food advertising, this is the reason why, you get to say a lot of great things about bringing people together. And mainly we're speaking to families. So there's all sorts of advertising. Advertising is a great use. I'm one of those big nerds who will watch a Super Bowl, not just for the football, but for the commercials. And I love great storytelling. I come from a background of great storytellers, and that's why it appeals to me so much.
Hey, Damien, we got about a minute. Blue Plate Mayonnaise, New Orleans own. Same great mayonnaise it's always been, one of America's favorite, but now a new label. Why?
Well, if you remember anything about 70s design, it really just kind of went downhill, and at some point we kind of evolved during the time what our label looked like. It was good for the times, but as the consumer gets more and more sophisticated, it became really dated. And when we started looking at this brand, they're like, wow, it keeps winning taste tests, et cetera, but it's perceived as a very cheap store brand. We went back and looked at the history from the person who invented it, Mr. Nealing, who worked for Western Oil. And his whole thing was he wanted to develop a chef-driven condiment for the home cook that just wowed them. And at the time it was served very small portions, and it was a real delicacy. It was a real treat. So we went back and we realized that this willowware, which is this gorgeous ceramic, Asian-inspired ceramic, was one of those things that conveyed class of the time. So when we went back and looked at it, we felt, well, we're not really saying we're from New Orleans. We're not really showing that we're from New Orleans. And New Orleans is a culinary destination, a mecca. This is something we really are in love with, and we feel represents the best of food in America. And so we went back and redesigned the label to look like, or to bring back the heritage of the willowware, and then put some New Orleans elements in there, and then lay claim to the fact that we're part of iconic dishes in New Orleans, like New Orleans po' boy. So that was really the reason why, and we keep winning taste tests, and we wanted the outside to represent the quality on the inside.
No, when you said that about the label and what it originally was, kind of got me thinking, like, 60s and 70s and turtlenecks and Sesame Street Electric Company, that old Blue Plate Mayonnaise label. You're right. And then when you mention, like, some people were perceived as like a lower brand, I can see all that with that old kind of basic label. This new label is the exact opposite of all that.
Yeah, and we kept winning taste tests, and so things that just didn't jive. So we wanted to really, and we didn't change anything. We felt we wanted to update the look so that consumers would appreciate more what's inside the jar.
Hey, Damien, let's pick this conversation up next week. I love talking marketing and promotion and advertising.
Great, Corey. Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. That's Damien Michaels from Relevant Studios. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Don't go anywhere.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Great piece on Channel 4's website. This EPA investigation could have brought major reforms to DEQ, Cancer Alley, Louisiana, and they sold out. The oil and gas interests, the chemical industry, must have got to the feds. Seriously. Very disappointing. We'll see where this goes. Good job for Channel 4 exposing this. The mayor today, we have 858 days to go, knows how many days left in office. Divided by 20 junkets means she's disappointed in the leadership of the city council, says they're using bullying tactics, disrespectful political trickery. It's unfortunate. She's not surprised. Cassie Sherm, the WDSU Channel 6 investigative reporter who does a great job, doesn't raise her voice, doesn't get belligerent, asks very legitimate journalistic questions. No angle or agenda except journalism. It's really nice. It's refreshing. She wanted to know who's paying for communication director Gregory Joseph's lawyer, his attorney. And the mayor just went off not went off upset, just went off babbling. You might as well said, New Orleans is one of those cities that's a port city. It's located on the Mississippi River. There's a lot of not international trade going on. I mean, might as well have said that. Went off on that for 5 minutes because nowhere close to answering the question of who's paying for communication director Gregory Joseph's attorney. J.P. Morrell wants Gregory Joseph removed. They're meeting next Tuesday to potentially remove Gregory Joseph. Now, this is all about the mailer. This is the mayor, I think, is sort of I shouldn't even say the mayor is sort of doing it. The council is sort of, hey, let's blame Gregory Joseph. We haven't heard from the mayor, don't know much what the mayor said or did, but we've talked to Gregory Joseph. He's answered questions. We see what he said. We saw his posturing, how he acted at the council meeting. I mean, literally his posturing, turning sideways, almost back to Leslie Harris when she was asking questions. It was insane. I don't think he was doing it deliberately, like consciously. I'll show her, this is what I think of all this. It was unconscious, like he literally was almost squirming in his chair where he turned sideways, like not physically liking this, subconsciously turning my back. It was crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, J.P. Morrell, next Tuesday, the council, they may vote to remove Gregory Joseph. The mayor says it's all agenda-driven. Jeff Landry, the rich donors that control him, flying him everywhere, man. Jeff Landry likes private jet travel and for campaign purposes. Broken Louisiana, we get exactly what we deserve. This guy most likely will be governor, unless people step up and say enough is enough of this Alario, Bill Jefferson, Edwin Edwards BS mentality. This take, set up friends and family. That's what this guy's all about. It's obnoxious. Do some research, find out about it. There are too many really viable Republican candidates out there, coupled with it's a red state. A lot of Democrats vote Republican. Coupled with the candidate that the Democrats are backing really can't win against almost any Republican. So, my God, back someone besides Jeff Landry. What a nightmare. No, just not a good person. More of the same. Political nonsense. No way he's moving the needle forward. Not going to become Florida or Texas's economy because of how he feels about abortion or guns. That won't change a thing in Louisiana, how Jeff Landry feels about abortions and guns as far as Louisiana copying or following Texas or Florida or Georgia or Tennessee's economy. It's not happening. We got to do better than Jeff Landry. No, just the folks that fly him around. I mean, it's crazy. Is it Shane Guidry? Shane Guidry was paying him like $1,000 a week plus, more than $1,000 a week to sit on that Harvey Marine board. And Guidry's doing nothing wrong. He can put anyone on the board. There's some ethical or, moral questions you could ask Guidry about it. But he's like, dude, this is the number one law enforcement person in the state of Louisiana. I can put him on my board. I'm doing nothing wrong. He might be doing something wrong coming on my board. And yeah, he doesn't come to board meetings. He doesn't vote. He doesn't do anything. I'm essentially paying him north of $1,000 a week. This was for years and years. Jeff Landry has a brother. They have a staffing agency. They basically, they are middlemen for no reason that staff the liquefied natural gas industry in Lake Charles, to be specific. They hire hundreds of workers. They get a piece of every one of them. Instead of hiring Louisiana workers, I'm not making this up, they import workers from Mexico. They can work them harder. They don't have to give them any kind of benefits, and they make larger profits. Screw the Louisiana worker that desperately wants the job. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. No, look into Jeff Landry. It's all about Jeff Landry. Free money, board memberships that he shouldn't be on, free jet travel. The BS company he has with his brother, the staffing agency, he only got with connections as a politician, as AG. Shouldn't be doing that. Should be AG only. That's what you're going to get as governor. It's Edwin Edwards type stuff. John Alario. Got to do better. What's that, Blue Boy? Gotta do better. Right,
You're
buddy.
on the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us on the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Ella Brennan Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh?
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry, superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dooby-dooby-doo, where are you? We got some work.
Even though the neighbors don't like it, it's my Good Times van from the 70s. I'll park it in front of my house on the street, let leaves and debris pile up on it, and only drive it once a month because I can, by golly. I drove it to work today, the Good Times van from the 70s. Very similar to the Scooby van. All right, enough Scooby-Doo. Where's Drew Brees? Let's go to La Jolla. No, that's your multi-million-dollar compound in La Jolla. La Jolla to San Diego, very similar to Gretna to New Orleans. That's not true at all. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Wide Open Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 766-9480. 766-9480. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. It's brought to you by Latrim this afternoon. Latrim, the global manufacturing giant that continues to grow all around the world, every continent. Born, bred, based right here out of New Orleans. They continue to grow. They continue to expand. They continue to hire. About 1,300 employees in Elmwood. They're growing there. A few hundred on the North Shore, their I-12 facility. They're growing there. Go to their website, Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. A culture of innovation. Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. A job, a career for you at Latrim. Check them out. 5 o'clock power hour on this Wide Open Wednesday. Yeah, you right. Brought to you by Latrim. Hey, tomorrow, Ghassan Corbin's going to join us in the 4 o'clock hour, director of the Sewerage and Water Board. In the 5 o'clock hour, Robert Mann will join us from the LSU School of Journalism to discuss the repercussions from Brian Kelly's comments over the weekend. The comments weren't from over the weekend. They're probably from a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Who knows when they were from? Prior to Saturday, when the ESPN reporter interviewed Brian Kelly. The article was about the remaking of LSU athletics in general. And the Brian Kelly quote, right on the money. I couldn't agree with the coach more. This is the kind of stuff I've been saying for a decade plus, falling on mostly deaf ears, because many folks that profess their love of LSU, they're LSU fans, they love the school, they love the football team, they went to the school, maybe all that. They don't mind that LSU athletics are an 11 on a 1 to 10 scale. Who would mind that? While academics sit at around a 4, in my opinion. Brian Kelly, this is his comment. I loved my time at Notre Dame. I have nothing but great memories there. But the whole landscape there is different than it is at LSU. It just is. There are priorities at Notre Dame. There are priorities at Notre Dame. The architectural building needed to get built first. At LSU, they ain't building the architectural building here first. At LSU, we're building the athletic training facility first. It's something I said we needed, and we went and immediately raised the money. He's saying there's a big difference. Their priorities at Notre Dame. The priorities are academics first. They want to be great at football. They have one of the best college football traditions in the history of the game. But that's secondary to academics. At LSU, it isn't even the reversal. It's LSU football first, and I don't even know where second is. It's not right behind it. At Notre Dame, at least, there's academics first, huge pride in football and trying to make it great. At LSU, it's huge pride in trying to make football great and athletics great. And, oh, wait, we're supposed to be doing academics? Brian Kelly's comments just yell that. I mean, essentially said, look, Notre Dame's a school first, Athletics are important, but they're secondary, clearly. LSU's all about athletics. LSU's all about football. They aren't really concerned with academics. I'm a football coach that wants to win. LSU wants to win badly at football. Not so much with academics. I don't have to worry about that like I did at Notre Dame. That's essentially what Brian Kelly's saying. Now, fans can twist it any way they like. They can roll their eyes and say, I don't care. I mean, that's sort of the problem why we're in the predicament we're in. LSU athletics, an 11 on a 1 to 10 scale. Facilities, coaches, players, fans, the whole thing, as good as it gets. State of the art. Academics, sort of, let's try to make it look good. Maybe a 4 on a 1 to 10 scale. What do you think? Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Let me warn you, LSU class of 91. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Love to hear from you. 766-9480. Brian Kelly must have caught some crap from William Tate and a few other folks. He's backtracking on the comments. Oh, no, there's excellence in academics at LSU too. The original comment's the one that's real, that's going to stick, that everybody knows exactly what he was talking about. And it's true. It's true. It's painfully true. It's patently true. Yeah, that's sort of a bummerooski. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. Great piece on the Channel 4 website. The shuttered EPA investigation that could have got Louisiana's Department of Environmental Quality actually doing their job, not the inmates running the asylum, not the oil and gas industry, the chemical industry controlling, running the Department of Environmental Quality in Louisiana. The EPA abandoned that. No, it's a powerful lobbying group. Let's head to the phone lines. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. We head to Marrera, the best bank. Marvin joins us. What up, Marvin?
Hey, Corey, how you doing?
Doing well.
Got a couple of questions for you. I resided in New Orleans for almost all my life. I hate to even think about going back there now with things that are going on. But let's talk about Miss Mayor Cantrell for a minute. She was sworn in when she first got in, and now she's we don't know whether she paid for her upgrades. We don't know if she was paying moody hours to this guard over there. Why are these security guards getting paid 16 hours a day? And the ones, these other deputies, why no prosecution for the ones that were racing cars when they were supposed to be on duty? Yep. You got a captain that was caught not working. They reported when she got demoted to a lieutenant. Nobody's talking about paying these hours back or anything. What do you just get away for stealing? Is there any accountability in New Orleans? That's what I have to ask.
No, it's a hell of a legitimate question. You bring up great examples. The cops racing cars. I was thinking the same thing. The two brothers. No, they're all I can hope, Marvin, is that the FBI in New Orleans, the Eastern District Attorney, that their investigation continues and they're going to nail these, 8, 10, 12 cops to the wall nail them to the wall, put them in jail, restitution, have them pay it back, and not Irvin Mayfield $500 a month type restitution, like real restitution where you can pay it back over the next few years. No, it's sinful behavior. And no, you hope there is. That's what I loved post-Katrina. You had a triumvirate that was just powerful. You had Jim Letton as U.S. attorney. You had Jim Bernazani as head of the FBI. And you had Bob Sarasoli as the IG. And about every quarter, there was a politician or some contractor that was indicted. It was fantastic. It sent out a message. You shady characters, you John Ilario types, don't run for office. You Sherman Copeland types, don't run for office. Don't try to do city contract work. No, I hope, Marvin, that's all we can hope.
I'd like to bring up to your attention, when Cynthia Hedge Morrell was in office, she's the one that put forward before the council that they have this special group to patrol around the fairgrounds. Two of the ones they got to do that were her two sons and this captain that got reported.
Oh, no, Marvin, no. This goes on and on and on. A lot of the time they get away with it. Hopefully something happens this time with this crew.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. when you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Starving Marvin. Starving for justice. I hear you, Marvin. Doesn't happen very often. It used to with that trio I mentioned. Like to see it again. Hopefully the FBI is on these cops that you mentioned. And we do see some action, some justice. Hey, Rouse's Markets phone lines. You can dial us up like Marvin in Marrero. 766-9480. Marvin, I do have to point out, you're like, man, I don't know about New Orleans. I don't know if I can go back there. Dude, you live in Marrero. You live in the suburbs of New Orleans, okay? You didn't move to Texas or California or Chicago or the East Coast. You don't live in Nashville or Florida. You live in New Orleans. You North Shore folks. Yeah, I don't know about New Orleans. You live in Metro New Orleans, okay? I don't know about it. You wouldn't live on the North Shore if the South Shore didn't exist. Just mind-blowing. Anyway, I'm not getting on you, Marvin and Marrero, but you're in New Orleans already. I know what you mean, the city itself. I get it. But you didn't go too far away if you used to live in the city. Speaking of the city, as New Orleans as it gets, Katie's in Mid-City. A taste of New Orleans, big portions. More is better, more of the good things. Scott Craig says that, the motto at Katie's. Yeah, big portions, great for sharing. Old school New Orleans specialties you're used to. From pizzas to po' boys, seafood, a Mid-City mainstay. Iberville, corner Tallahassee, literally in the heart of Mid-City, in between Bienville and Canal Street, in between Carrollton and Doc Francis Parkway. Katie's in Mid-City. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. You're the show producer, whatever you'd like to discuss. Maybe it's the mayor, disappointed in the leadership of the city council, the council president, J.P. Morrell. Tuesday, the council might vote Gregory Joseph out, or try to, one of the mayor's top aides, her director of communication, who has trouble communicating. Cassie Sherm of WDSU Channel 6 asked the mayor, who's paying for communication director Gregory Joseph's attorney during these hearings about this pamphlet you sent out? And the mayor went off on one of the mayor's tangents, just babbling nonsense, and did not answer the question at all about who's paying for communication director Gregory Joseph's lawyer, attorney. The mailer and what Joseph did, the council essentially is like, hey, someone's going down for it. Joseph appears to have broke the law, unless you want to step up, mayor, and say you did it. Tuesday, he could be removed. No, this mayor and council do not get along, do not work together one bit. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this council's great. I'm pro city council. I can tell you I'm kind of anti-mayor, just her job as mayor, not as a person, her job as mayor. Terrible. Always excuse making, taking advantage. No, but I like the council holding her accountable. That's what they're supposed to do. The city of New Orleans needs a city manager. that does all the heavy lifting, and the mayor needs to be like ceremonial. It's a joke. We need to run it like a business, get all this politics out of it somehow, some way. Great piece on Channel 4, how the EPA investigation that was basically, it looked like it was leading to Louisiana's Department of Environmental Quality actually living up to their name, being the Department of Environmental Quality and not being run by the oil and gas industry and the chemical industry, but being run by themselves. And then it all went away. And Cancer Alley continues, and the oil and gas and chemical industry, they run it. They do whatever they want. They break the rules all the time. The penalties, if they're ever caught, are minor. They're not going to stop them. They know they can get away with it in Louisiana. The politicians are in their pocket. I mean, I say in like New Orleans, like with civil service, a city of New Orleans employee would almost have to murder someone or rape someone to be fired. And in the chemical industry, oil and gas industry, you'd have to like wipe out a community for like that plant to be held responsible. They would just file bankruptcy, flip it to another company, and they would run it. No, DEQ, Buddy Roemer, Paul Template, that was the only time, that was 35 years ago, where the DEQ is supposed to do what it's supposed to do, be the Department of Environmental Quality. I cannot stand folks that are on the liberal side. This is an example. And they want DEQ or the Department of Environmental Quality just to, let's ban folks from grilling and dropping charcoal. And then when it comes to the Department of Defense, we don't need a strong Department of Defense. There's no wars to fight. That's yesterday thinking. We don't need these modern weapon systems, all that. It's welfare for the rich, blah, blah, blah. Just these extreme views. And then the wacky right, the opposite of the bleeding heart liberal. They think the defense should be strong, hawk, strong defense, leaders in the world. I agree with them. But they think the EPA should be worrying about capitalism and the economy and things of that nature. When I want someone who's the Environmental Protection Agency chief that works for us, the citizens, that sole worry or concern is the environment, not out to shut down an industry or cripple the, economy or hurt capitalism, but that's not their concern. Just like the military leaders aren't concerned about the economy or capitalism. They're fighting a war. EPA, environmental. I want the environmental best. Military, I want the military best. I don't want weak EPA, strong military, weak military, strong EPA. I don't want the extremes. I want what's normal, what they're supposed to be doing. Department of Environmental Quality, change your name to whore for the oil and gas industry, whore for the chemical industry. Inmates run the asylum. This is a feel-good, just BS facade. We don't do anything. I mean, be real about it. No, great piece on the Channel 4 website about the shuttered EPA investigation. Could have brought meaningful reform to Cancer Alley, the Department of Environmental Quality in Louisiana, just went away. No, the powerful oil and gas and chemical industry, those lobbyists, they must have got to the feds. I don't know how this went away. All I know is Louisiana and the citizens lose. I remember when Buddy Roemer came in and Paul Template was simply enforcing the law. Hey, guys, this free-for-all, this Wild West mentality with the oil and gas industry and chemical industry as far as polluting and releasing chemicals and all of that, it's over. We're going to enforce the laws on the books. And they all freaked out. Edwin Edwards gets in the next term and brought in a lawyer who worked for the oil and gas and chemical industry to run DEQ. Oh, it's very important. So many jobs, blah, blah, blah. Just doesn't matter if they pollute. The inmates are going to run the asylum. And that the only sniff was Paul Template during the Buddy Roemer administration. I don't know if Channel 4 and that story mentioned that, but it's been just failure after failure, and something you should check out if you care at all about Louisiana. I mean, Agent Orange, essentially, you know, Roundup, the modern formula, the modern day Agent Orange, a carcinogen. Is anyone doubting that? I don't think you want to, dude, I don't use a sauna. I hang out in a 55-gallon drum of Roundup. I do my ice down therapy in Roundup. That's made 35 miles from the French Quarter, 35 miles from the Dome, right up the river. All the Roundup in the world is made about 25, 30 minutes from the Superdome and French Quarter. So no, I'd worry about the Department of Environmental Quality, especially if you procreate and have kids, right? Right? Jeff Landry and his rich donors that basically control him, like Shane Guidry. I'm not dogging Shane Guidry. He had Harvey Marine. I'll put the number one law enforcement official, Jeff Landry, who shouldn't be on my board because he's the attorney general for the state. I'll put him on my board. He doesn't have to come to board meetings. Probably he's never been to the board room ever, never votes on anything, but he's, quote, on the board, and I'm going to pay him north of $1,000 a week. $1,000 a week to do absolutely nothing. Jeff Landry took the money for years and years. Now that he's running for governor, he stopped taking the money because he's getting exposed. No one cares. Definitely not Landry supporters. Flies around on private jets, rich donors, goes to campaign events. No one cares that he's breaking the law. He's going to be governor. He's the number one law enforcement official in the state, and he's breaking the law. The ethics board knows about it. What will they do? I doubt anything. Like I say, Louisiana Board of Ethics. Louisiana, board, B-O-R-E-D, Board of Ethics. No, broken Louisiana, we get exactly what we deserve. We like to lose. Jeff Landry, just skirting the law. Him and his brother with that staffing agency for the liquefied natural gas industry in Lake Charles, and they don't hire Louisiana folks, shouldn't have the staffing agency to begin with. Only have it because Jeff Landry's attorney general and his connections. So they bring in hundreds of workers and they get a cut of it all. They get paid. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Him and his brother doing nothing on top of the $1,000+ a week sitting on the Harvey Marine board, doing nothing. Here's the real rub, if that isn't enough. They don't even hire Louisiana workers for those LNG jobs. They import Mexican workers. They can work them longer hours, pay them less benefits, make more profits. They're greedy and don't care about the Louisiana workers when they shouldn't even have the job as the staffing agency. Jeff Landry has a gay brother. They don't acknowledge him. Homophobic. Jeff Landry's just not a good dude. He's cut out of the Edwin Edwards, John Alario, that kind of cloth. Cajun boy, Cajun accent. Don't let that fool you. I'm 25% Cajun. It's embarrassing that he would connect himself to Cajun culture and then that's what Cajuns do, like Edwin Edwards. Got news for you too, Cajun community. I'm 25% Cajun. That's 25% more than Edwin Edwards. Edwin Edwards has 0 Cajun blood in his body. None. 0. He can speak like he speaks. He can act like he acts. Edwin Edwards was not Cajun at all. 0. I'm 25% Cajun. 25% more than Edwin Edwards. His father's from Kentucky. His mother's French from France, not Cajun. He has 0 Cajun blood, had 0 Cajun blood running through his veins. That's just the truth. You can believe, or that's Louisiana's problem. What we want to believe, what we hope to believe, it feels good, not what is, not what the facts lead to. Embrace Edwin Edwards as the super Cajun, 0 Cajun blood in his body. Listen to Corey Johnson, Yaddy New Orleans guy, and don't think there's anything Cajun about him. Well, you don't know my relatives on Bayou Teche, and you don't know my father's mother, who was 50% Cajun French at least. Can't help it that I got the Yaddy New Orleans accent, dude. I'm a city boy. I don't drink coffee. I don't eat raw oysters. I don't hunt and fish. I have nothing against oysters. I eat oysters that are cooked, baked, in gumbo. I don't drink coffee. I love the coffee industry, the coffee history and culture in New Orleans, Louisiana, it's coffee city. I don't hunt and fish. All my friends hunt and fish. Lots of guns, bow hunting, all kind of fishing equipment, boats, fly fishing, doing it standing in a river, doing it on a boat, doing it out in the Gulf, not fly fishing, regular fishing, the whole deal. I love it all. Sportsman's paradise. I'm pro all of that. But I'm a city boy, a New Orleans city boy. Wide Open Wednesday, Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Former FNBC boss Ashton Ryan sentenced to 14 years in jail, a lifetime. Ashton Ryan's like 75 plus, nearing 80. Get out in his late 80s or 90s. I don't think he'll make it, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. Hope Ashton Ryan lives 25 more years, gets out and spend a generation with his grandchildren, whatever. The way Ashton Ryan has aged the last 5 years, physically in appearance, from the nearly $1 billion bank collapse, $997 million. Repercussions from Brian Kelly's scathing but accurate interpretation of LSU academically, especially when compared to an academic institution like Notre Dame. Trying to backtrack now. I don't know if it was President Tate or someone else saying, man, you can't say that about LSU, dude. In an ESPN article, it was about the remaking of LSU athletics. It's like if you're an LSU booster or administrator or President Tate, you're liking the article for most of it until Brian Kelly had to say this. I loved my time at Notre Dame. I have nothing but great memories there. But the whole landscape there is different than it is at LSU. It just is. There are priorities at Notre Dame. There are priorities at Notre Dame. The architectural building needed to get built first. At LSU, they ain't building the architectural building here first. At LSU, we're building the athletic training facility first. It's something I said we needed, and we went and immediately raised the money. I mean, he's essentially saying Notre Dame has priorities. It's academics. They're going to fix the academic building first, then give me my athletic building. At LSU, it's the opposite. They're not even worried about the academic building. I said we needed this for athletics. They went out and raised the money. Boom, immediately. It's getting done. That's what he's saying. LSU is a football school first. I don't even know if they care about academics. That's what Brian Kelly's saying, and he's right on the money. I'm glad he said it because it's accurate. You can say, I don't want to hear anything negative about LSU. I'm a fan too. I love LSU too. No one can say they're a bigger fan of the institution or the football program. Only can be equal to me. I love it. It's in my blood. Class of 91. Loved it. Love it now. But boy, very mediocre at best academically. I've been saying this for over a decade, mostly going on deaf ears. If anything, I catch more grief, then go for it, Corey. Brave for you to say it, man. Good for you to say. You went to LSU. You're telling it like it is. I get more crap. Corey, you got to lay off LSU, dude. My kids went there. Why are you always bashing LSU academically? It's got good academics. Hell, President Tate jumped me on Twitter when I posted something. Had him on the program to discuss. It didn't go too well for President Tate. We'll try to get him on the program again. Hey, are you on the Causeway Bridge right now, beelining to the North Shore? Why don't you dial up Trey Yen on a Wednesday and bring home a big to-go order from Trey Yen? Pull right in front. Curbside delivery. They'll walk that order right out to you. Whole speckled trout, whole flounder with that tung cho sauce. So good. Trey Yen in Mandeville. Or dine in at the foot of the causeway. Trey Yen in Mandeville. Yeah, fire in a to-go order. I love the curbside delivery. I take advantage of the Tuesday through Friday lunch specials all the time. I get a lot of the hot pepper chicken. I get a lot of the tung cho chicken. Got some good dishes. Buddy of mine loves the choo-choo chicken. They've got shrimp and crawfish, soft shell crab, steak, pork, oysters, seafood, all kind of great stuff. Those lunch specials under $10. I love Trey Yen in Mandeville. Can't go wrong with Trey Yen in Mandeville. Hey, number 24, Tulane. Yeah, you right, Willie Fritz. I love the Willie Fritz bobblehead. Holding the 2 trophies. Awesome. 24th ranked Tulane. Taking care of South Alabama nicely. Doubling up on those guys. The Jaguars with their home of Mardi Gras on the helmets. Home of a 2-hour bus ride, getting your butt whipped at Yeoman from start to finish. 24th ranked Tulane, a top 20 matchup, sold out Yeoman Stadium this Saturday afternoon, a midday 2:30 kickoff, daytime kickoff 2:30. ESPN2, the Deuce is in town. Nationwide television audience, yeah, you right, wave, a top 25 matchup. Number 24, Tulane. Number 20, Ole Miss. And their high-flying offense. Can the Wave defense ground the Rebels somewhat? Uptown New Orleans, you got to love it. Open-air stadium. 30,000 strong. If you go, you'll think it's 50,000. What do you think? I'm pushing the green wave and they're paying me? You're going to go there and go, no, Corey, it was 30,000. I thought it was 10. If you go, you will think the 30,000 is 50,000 folks. It is a real college atmosphere. There's no mistaking it for, dude, I've been to a St. Aug Jesuit game at Gormley with 30,000. That's a high school football game that is as good as it gets. But it ain't what Tulane and Ole Miss, what you'll experience at Yeoman. And they're not comparable. One is great high school, and it's apples to oranges. But the 30,000 that are at Tad Gormley checking out Jesuit and St. Aug, there's nowhere near. It's the pageantry, the color, the college football, that level that you're going to see at Yeoman Saturday afternoon. ESPN2 won't have to do a low camera shot because of empty stands. It's sold out. There'll be thousands of Ole Miss fans in town, thousands of students. Tulane, the student section, thousands strong now. The season tickets sold out for the year at Yeoman. Only individual game tickets are available, and they're sold out this week. 30,000 plus. They might put the biggest crowd ever in this Saturday because Ole Miss is going to bring people to town that don't have a ticket. College kids that are just hoping to get a ticket, and when they can't get in, they're going to go watch it at the boot or something like that. Anyway, I'm fired up for that Saturday afternoon. 24th ranked Tulane, 20th ranked Ole Miss, Yeoman Stadium, Uptown New Orleans, 2:30 kickoff, ESPN2, nationwide television audience. Did I say, yeah, you right? Hey, how about every day this program on radio, on television, on YouTube, live streaming, KaareTalks.com, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennerbra on the car corner, Williams Boulevard at I-10. Right on the corner, right on the price. For like 50 plus years. Started as Norton Ford. Then it was Norton Lamarck. And then Norton realized, I can't keep up with Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park. The big store for nearly 50 years. Number one Ford dealership in the region, period. End of story. Lamarck Lincoln. part of the Lamarck Automotive Complex, #1 Lincoln dealer in the state of Louisiana. If that wasn't enough, Crescent City Ford, the legendary New Orleans truck and SUV dealership on Jefferson Highway, it's now under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
You're listening to The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Cotton Bowl winning coach Willie Fritz joining us on the program. Have you ever been part of a game that great?
A lot of things happen in the game. You just don't know the script. You got to adapt to improvise. You just got to keep playing hard the whole time. And our guys did an excellent job of that.
How big is yesterday for the overall future of the program?
You got to have the guys that really have a burning desire to get quality education and also be a great football player. You got to have focus.
You've always have embraced New Orleans. You've been a great ambassador for the city, for Tulane University.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. My wife and I just love it here in New Orleans. And just everybody, the city's just sensational. We just a dime for a person who came up to me after the game. I had tickets in Tulane Stadium. And, I've heard that a ton of times. And letting you know, that's good that we're able to make some people happy.
That's Willie Fritz joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Roll A.
The spirit of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on The Neutral Ground.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Stool Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Hey, tomorrow, Ghassan Corbin's going to join us. Director, Sewage and Water Board. We'll find out what happened the other day when that rain fell and pumps weren't working. Find out what the future projects, where they are, when completion dates are expected, how we're going to handle the rest of hurricane season, and also about the lack of retention ponds. My God. Seems like I've been saying this the last few months. We be digging. That should be New Orleans' motto. Digging small holes and planting trees 24/7, 365, and digging large holes, retention ponds, so the water will naturally gravitate towards them. Yeah, I've got some retention ponds that work like a champ back earlier in the week when the 6 to 8 inches fell. Work like a champ Monday. The retention pond under the train tracks at Canal Boulevard by I-610. The retention pond under the train tracks under the I-10 by Tulane Avenue on Carrollton. The retention pond on I-10 itself under the train tracks by the cemeteries. Those worked very well. I saw a car that you couldn't even see the roof, like 2 inches of water above the roof of the car at the one on Canal Boulevard. I'm assuming they put the car in there as an old junker to give you an idea of how well the retention pond's working. It's amazing that we try to pump water out of these ditches, these underpasses, these natural retention ponds. If anything, dig them large or expand them and build a bridge over those 3 rail passages. A bridge. Never have to worry about the flooding. It's crazy. Retention ponds. We'll talk with Ghassan Corbin about that tomorrow. That's in the 4 o'clock hour. Was mentioning Brian Kelly, the painful truth about LSU as an institution, especially compared to an academic one like Notre Dame. Went to LSU because you can win at football. They're not concerned about academics at LSU. Notre Dame had that worry. Their number one priority at Notre Dame is school, academics. Athletics are huge priority, but clearly second. At LSU, football is king. Number one. Academics, I don't know where they are on the list at LSU. Baseball might be next. Men's basketball, women's basketball. I don't know. That's what Brian Kelly is saying, and it's true. It's true. There are repercussions, I guess, from that. Tomorrow, Robert Mann will join us in the 5 o'clock power hour to discuss those repercussions from those comments. Big story of the day, the mayor, J.P. Morrell, council president, says he wants Gregory Joseph removed. The council meets next Tuesday to see if they can remove him. That's the mayor's director of communications. Cassie Sherm asked the mayor if, who's paying for Gregory Joseph's legal fees, the attorney. The mayor didn't answer the question. She babbled for about 2 minutes, but might as well have been talking about spaghetti and meatballs or something because had nothing to do with who's paying Gregory Joseph's attorney's fee. Big story breaking. Hey, Helm Paint and Supply, Helm Paint and Decorating, indoor paint project, outdoor paint project, 7 locations in Metro New Orleans. More coming soon. I'll fill you in on that. Plus free 2-hour delivery of those high-quality Benjamin Moore paints and all the things you need to get the job done right. That's right, free 2-hour delivery. Pick your paints, your Benjamin Moore colors online. Call one of the 7 Helm Paint and Decorating locations. Within 2 hours, all the goodies are delivered to your location so you can keep working. When New Orleans has to get a paint project done, do it once, do it right. They will steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread. My Situ, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Such a weird time, like when the sun is setting, which I guess now it's like around 7:15, 7. A breeze picks up. The humidity seems to drop. I'm walking the dog yesterday. It was nice outside. Then when the sun goes down, the breeze stops and it's like humid again. It's like hotter at night almost sometimes, like 9, 10 p.m. than it is at like 7:30 for some weird reason. I don't know, when the sun drops out the sky, the wind automatically picks up. I don't know. Anyway, maybe we're finally sort of sniffing our way out of this summertime heat. I hope so. Hey, I want to thank Damian Michaels from Relevant Studios joining us. Tomorrow, Ghassan Corbin, director of the Sewage and Water Board, in the 4 o'clock hour. Tomorrow, Robert Mann, LSU professor from the School of Journalism, in the 5 o'clock hour. What's that, Blue Boy? It's already Thursday tomorrow. You're right. Thank everybody for watching and listening. You're right, buddy. See you tomorrow at 4. Down, Blue.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.